family law attorney and I've seen some brutal divorces, but the one that still keeps me up at night involved a clause so small, most people would have skipped right over it. My client was a man named Desmond, who walked into my office looking like he hadn't slept in a year. He was worth roughly $12 million, mostly from a software company he'd built from his garage before he got married. His wife Petra had signed a prenup before the wedding. Standard stuff on the surface. She got the house in the event of divorce. She got alimony for 5 years. She got a one-time payout of $500,000. Generous by most standards. But buried on page 11 in a section labeled Moral Conduct Provisions was a single paragraph that changed everything. It stated that if either party was found to have engaged in a sustained pattern of financial deception during the marriage, including but not limited to hidden accounts, undisclosed debts, fraudulent transactions, or deliberate concealment of assets exceeding $50,000, all financial provisions in the agreement would be rendered null and void. The deceiving party would forfeit all claims to property, alimony, and lump sum payments. Every single protection wiped clean. Desmond told me he'd insisted on that clause because his first girlfriend had stolen $40,000 from him over 2 years using a credit card she'd opened in his name. He was paranoid about financial betrayal, and his attorney at the time built the clause specifically to protect him. Petra signed it without hesitation. She told him she had nothing to hide. That was 7 years ago. Now Desmond was sitting in my office because he'd discovered something. Petra had been running a separate business under her maiden name for 4 years, an online luxury resale shop bringing in roughly $90,000 a year. She had a business bank account he'd never seen, a PayPal linked to an email he didn't know existed. She'd been filing separate tax returns for the income using her maiden name, and a P.O. box at her mother's address. Desmond found out because a piece of mail got misdelivered to their home. A quarterly tax summary showing 6 figures of undisclosed revenue over 4 years. Nearly $360,000 earned and hidden completely. He brought me everything. Bank statements, tax filings, business registration, screenshots of the website, transaction records showing deposits into an account that never appeared on their joint financial disclosures. I told him what I had to. The moral conduct clause applied. Petra had engaged in a sustained pattern of financial deception, exceeding $50,000 over multiple years. If we invoked it, she'd lose everything the prenup promised. The house, the alimony, the payout, everything. We filed. Petra's attorney called within 48 hours. He was furious, said the clause was unconscionable, that no reasonable person would expect a small online business to trigger full forfeiture of marital protections. I told him it wasn't about the business. It was about the concealment, hidden bank accounts, separate tax filings, a P.O. box at her mother's house. That's not an oversight. That's a deliberate and sustained effort to hide financial activity from a spouse. Exactly what the clause was written to address. The hearing lasted 2 days. Petra's attorney argued she kept the business separate because she wanted something that was just hers, that she felt financially controlled, and this was her way of maintaining independence. Sympathetic argument. The judge listened carefully. Then we presented the timeline. 4 years of hidden income, separate tax returns constituting fraud in a community property state. Petra had actively lied on joint financial disclosures by omitting the business entirely. The judge ruled in our favor. The moral conduct clause was enforceable. Petra lost the house, the alimony, and the lump sum. She walked out of a $12 million marriage with her personal belongings and whatever was in her hidden business account. Her attorney filed an appeal. Denied. The clause was clear, specific, and signed voluntarily with independent counsel present. Petra knew what she agreed to. She just never thought it would apply to her. Desmond didn't celebrate. He sat in my office after the ruling, staring at the wall for a long time. Then he said, "I didn't want this. I just wanted her to be honest with me." That's the thing about prenups. People treat them like worst-case insurance they'll never need. But when the clause fits, it fits. And the smaller the clause, the harder it hits.